Hello, Eugenia with Heart Over Me. I have a beautiful sister to talk with today. We have been talking once, but still, because it could be new people watching the show, I'd like to ask you to introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Mandee Elam, and I am honored to be here today with you, Eugenie. I am an intuitive empowerment coach. I do angel card readings and I help people along their soul journey. I'm a radio show host, an online radio show host. I host 3 shows a week on a radio network called Heart Over Ego Radio, which can be found on Blog Talk Radio. And I'm just me. I'm a lover of the earth and animals and people, and I'm just here just trying to stay present and enjoy life.
Just before the show, you mentioned you have been working also with people different, like with homeless people. And how did you came to work there, and what did you learn from them?
Yeah, I ended up working there because I was ready for a change in my career and I was supposed to be going to college for wilderness therapy, but I had broken my ankle and so I couldn't start the program. So I decided to do some work with a population that I was afraid of, actually. I really feel like any trigger that we have is an opportunity to heal. And I felt like I was scared because I didn't really know. And I wanted to learn more about them. So I did. And as I worked, with this one organization, I ended up becoming like a one-on-one case manager and doing a lot of like life coaching and counseling with people who had been homeless for a really long time. Um, and it was really fun part of my job was like reintegrating passion and joy back in their lives. They finally had a place to live and they were starting to have some more, kind of steady, normal surroundings. And though that came with a lot of healing, it also came with the opportunity to start connecting to joy and to find your passion again. So that was
Can
probably
you
my favorite part of that experience.
Do you remember any special case which, because I guess it was maybe 10 years ago or something, isn't? When it was?
How long ago?
Yeah?
Like probably that experience probably 5 or 6 years ago now.
Okay, so what was the most interesting case what you met? What if it was a case which touched your heart?
Oh man, there were a lot, but there was one person who hadn't cooked a meal in like I don't know, years, probably 30 years or so, because they'd been homeless for that long. And he was a man in his 60s. And it was something that he forgot he liked to do. And so once he got his own kitchen and he started cooking again, when he would come to my office for his sessions, we would make goals around him finding new recipes or making sure we could go to the grocery store. And then he ended up starting like a little cooking club and like hosting these like dinners for people just to come and talk and gather because it was something that he remembered as a positive. He had a traumatic childhood, but he also had some times where he would cook and people would come and he had positive memories around that. So it was just something that helped him find his spark and his joy again that, I didn't even see coming. It came from like a bare necessity and having to take care of himself.
That's how important, again, for our topic to find something that you do what you really love, but also you are touching another topic to give that chance, to give
Mm.
that hope, and how important is sometimes to smile, to say right word. Yeah, like now with your show you are reaching much more people. You are giving again the hope, but much wider. So that's what I wish your radio show will just grow and touch more hearts, much more as you ever dream. So thank you for
I
doing this.
hope so. We're a firm believer, with the Alchemy Sisters that the only person who has the power to heal you is you. We can gain insights and get information, from angels and guides and look into possibilities. But when it comes to action and creating the life that you want, you have free will and you have to honor that and you have to take the action. So, with our radio show, we just hope that it sparks a light and puts free resources out there for people to start, doing their own work and calling in the things they want to do for themselves.
Perfect. That's a very beautiful name already, Alchemy Sisters. So what it is
Yeah.
about? When did you find it? So are you creator of it, of this group with your colleague
Yeah,
or?
my beautiful soul sister and business partner, Jenny McDaniel, and I created it. Jenny had been doing radio shows for years with our producer, Drew. And once Jenny and I connected about 5 years ago or so, she asked me to start doing some shows with them. And I was nervous at first. It took me probably about a year to actually go on and do a radio show with them. So I started doing some shows with them on Sundays. And then it really just became a place where I realized, wow, I like this platform. And it became a passion of mine. And even though I was fear, Jenny always says, a nice way to look at alchemy and fear is to maybe turn it into curiosity and to alchemize it, because there's often great reward on the other side of fear. And in this case, I was nervous to speak my truth about all my, I wasn't out of my spiritual closet at the time. And it ended up being just such a wonderful experience. So about 3 years ago, we had our first season of the Alchemy Sisters, and we've interviewed well over 100 people, and it's been absolutely amazing. And we talk about everything from how to heal yourself or how to help the planet in some way or another. We talk about different dimensions and aliens and beings and karmas and just all kinds of different things. We go all over the place. There's nothing too taboo or too boring for us. We love it all. And we just hope to help each soul along their journey.
So what is about men? If it is only for the sisters, the show, or also men can join you?
Men can absolutely join. We've actually had several male guests on the show. We call them our Alchemy Brothers. And the reason we came up with the Alchemy Sisters was because it was just me and Jenny, and we were soul sisters when we started it. It started bringing in a lot of other women. I tend to work with women more at this time. I do work with men, but it's just what's rising right now, and I honor it. And I feel very much as though a lot of the women are creating the space or paving a way so everyone can heal. I think within each being, we have masculine and feminine, and they're both very divine, and they both deserve to be honored. Whether you're a male or a female in this lifetime, doesn't matter what your gender is, you have both of those qualities. So, even though we do say we're the Alchemy Sisters, I think we tend to focus a little bit more on the feminine energy and the healing aspect of that, and the healing arts, which the arts tend to be a little more feminine at times too. So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's beautiful. Tell me about because your work is still spiritual. Even if you started working helping homeless people, that was social, and now it becomes more and more spiritual. And you are cards reader. So, how started your that journey?
How did I start where I actually started doing the spiritual work instead of doing just the social work? Or I was a bartender for a long time too. You get a lot of practice reading people when you're a bartender, because you have all different people coming in from all different walks of life. But I've always been really connected to my angels, and they've always kind of passed messages to me, and I wasn't sure who they were or what it was, or if I was crazy. But probably about 6 years ago now or so, there was a incident where I was snowboarding. Snowboarding's a big passion of mine. I love the snow and the mountains, and I was snowboarding, and there was a young man who had fallen, and I went over to help him, and he was really injured. It wasn't good, and I ended up being there to help him to transition. I was with him when he took his last breath, and I was able to sit with his energy for a little while, and it was a very random accident that I wasn't expecting. And I was able to feel and see his soul ascend up into the passed over. And it was this like really beautiful, amazing experience. And something I'm sure you've talked about on your show, you've talked about it with me, is looking for signs and for confirmation, and if things come through in threes. So after that had happened, I said to one of my friends, like, I really, because they didn't release if this person had lived or not. And I didn't know when I left. I didn't know if he was going to be okay or not. I handed him over to the ski patrol. I left the scene, and then I just felt and saw what I did. And so 3 days later, one of my friends came and said, hey, I just read the newspaper and it showed that, the person you helped passed away. And I said, oh man, I really thought so. I had a feeling. And the whole time, everyone I worked with, all my friends were like, no, they're going to be fine. You helped them. Like, they're going to be fine. And I'm like, no, they're not fine. Like, they passed over. Like, they're not here. And I knew it. So I got that confirmation. Then, very shortly after, when I met Jenny, my business partner, she was a massage therapist and a reader, and I had gotten a massage from her. And it was the first time I had ever received like intuitive messages like that. And she said, there's a young man here showering you with yellow roses, wanting to say thank you for helping him recently. Do you know what that means? And I said, I sure do.
Wow.
And, that just kicked off all of this. And, it was definitely a scary moment. But it was also a really beautiful moment. And I got to see, inside of kind of different worlds and dimensions and what transition looks like from a different kind of angle, just because I happened to be there and hold the space that day.
Yeah, but of course, as we know, there are no accidents, and it was the moment to show you your power and to get in touch with something which is, well, usually not seen, not spoken, and to be the advocate for another world. That's beautiful
Yeah.
that you got.
So then after that, I like went through a dark night of the soul. I kept trying to like do my social work and climb the ladder, and I was applying for promotions and doing things, and at the same time my body just kept falling apart because I wasn't living on my soul path, and I was ignoring my angel messages. I was like, I know I have these skills, but I just want to do the corporate thing, and I just want to get my perfect job and make the money, and I wanted to help, but I didn't have any confidence in my skills at the time. And so the universe just kept kind of throwing me on my ass, really. And I had injury after injury, just problem after problem, until I finally surrendered. I left a relationship I was in. It was like I loved him, but it wasn't, the one. It wasn't the life that I was wanting and creating now. And I had to be really brave and say, all right, I got the things I thought I wanted, and I'm on the path that a lot of people would be really grateful for. But am I serving, myself and my highest good in an authentic way right now? And I had to start getting really real with myself because of all the injuries and stuff. So once I surrendered and I decided to really start doing this work, full time as just who I am and what I do and what I offer, things have just been lining up, and I heal a little more each day. I get a little brighter. I come across amazing soul connections, and spirit reveals more and more to me. So once you surrender and you just allow yourself to wake up each day and say, how can I be most of service? That's what ended up putting me on my path more authentic, and being brave enough to let go of what I thought I was supposed to be doing. But I wasn't, I was living comfortably, but not bravely, I would say.
Okay, so now you are basically focused only on spiritual work. You help in different ways as you can. As I follow you on Facebook, I see that you're organizing your cycles, weekends, excursions. You are doing your shows. You are doing angel card readings. You are getting clients, and so tell me about a little bit to work when you do card readings. What it happens? How do you get messages? What if it was something I know you will not say exactly about the example with the clients, because that's
Right.
fine, that's sacred, we cannot share about it.
Of
But
course.
what it is like, the essential of your work, how do you help?
Yeah. So really a lot of my work, I certainly take new clients and meet new people and I'll do an angel reading for them or a tarot reading. But really my kind of little flavor and specialty is intuitive empowerment coaching. And I really help people to figure out what's been going on in their life that's keeping them blocked and keeping them from ascending to where they want to be, whether that's traumas or dramas or certain beliefs or different conditioning. I have a lot of people who come to me. I have a lot of women who will come to me with sisterhood wounds or being having a hard time creating friends or being able to trust other women, or maybe they've been through a lot of sexual trauma or miscarriages or things like that, and they've lost their passions. I have a lot of people who are interested in the healing arts and really want to further their own skills and learn how to hold themselves more accountable. So I tend to sit down with a client and I ask them what's on their heart and mind most today, and what it is I can do to help be of service to them. And a lot of times they'll say, my anxiety's been really out of the roof and I've been snapping at my husband again, and my kid's really triggering me with this and I don't know how to handle it, but I want to and I want to grow. And my job, like I'm having a hard time with my boss, or like I really want to go for this promotion. There's usually something, there's a catalyst. I like to be of service to people. I don't do contracts. I don't say, oh, you need to work with me for 3 months to create this change in your life, because I believe timing is all sacred and divine. So I just say, you come to me as you need me and I'll help you along your path. So often people will come with a question, and a lot of times there's certain things we're working on. Like I've helped some people who have dealt with being sex trafficked and learning how to reintegrate into society and to trust again and to build confidence within themselves mostly, and know that they don't need anyone else outside of themselves to get the things that they want. I've worked with people who are just wanting to make a difference in this world and show up and be of service, and they're not sure how to do that. And a lot of times it has to do with speaking or with writing. I'll come across a lot of fellow people and souls like me, often women or men that have had feminine past lifetimes of healer wounds or witch wounds, where we've been burned at the stake or buried or thrown in jail. I have like a past life I visit often where I'm like sitting, I'm like a man, and I feel like it's like Mongolia is what they tell me, and I'm like stroking my beard and I'm stuck in a prison. So there's been a lot of times where so many of us light beings and way showers have wanted to come in and make a difference, and we haven't been able to. We've been kept bound. So that's what I see in my work a lot. There's often just these little things, and I'll be like, oh, well, I can see that clearly in this lifetime. What can we do to start clearing that? And I like to really pair it with, I use positive affirmation work a lot, and learning how to, and I'll encourage people to look in the mirror and say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That is a hard thing to do, and it
Yeah,
takes a while, and it's really triggering. So we'll do that. I like a lot of tapping. I really like the attitude of gratitude when you're overwhelmed, to come back in and help you to recalibrate. So I incorporate a lot of tools, and it's very specific to what each person who comes to me needs. And I honor the fact that I'm not for everyone. If you want to come and work with me, great, let's give it a try. And if it doesn't feel in alignment, then I'm going to send you blessings on your journey, or refer you to someone else who I know might be amazing for you, or help you to say a prayer to attract in the perfect person for you at this time. I really try to release attachment to that, because I trust everyone's journey so much.
yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what it is about. Heart over me, heart over me. It means like it is journey, and we are on the right path. If we are following our hearts, then we are arriving where we should arrive, and in the best, for the highest best. So it is what is your highest best? Do you know where do you want to arrive?
My highest best, I guess I want to be of service. I want to help create change and I want to help bring more balance and harmony to the planet. So, our platform, which is how you and I met, I have a similar platform, Heart Over Ego, which is about making choices based on what your heart wants most, not what anyone else thinks or might think, or something that might cause harm to someone else intentionally. And really starting to choose what is best for me, for the planet, for the people around me. Can I put a little extra effort in here? Can I relax a little bit here? What's going to be best for me at this time? And really realizing every single action that we make has some sort of impact. So if you can, doing your best to try to make decisions based on what the heart wants most and not out of fear or what anyone else might think.
Oh, I'm getting the keywords about your essence, and what was like getting to my ears. It was passion finder, balance keeper,
Mm.
and now we are like everywhere in the world we have coronavirus.
Oh, yeah, I think it just landed in Jersey today, where I am in the United States.
Oh my gosh, what people talk about it nowadays?
Well, it's funny because I'm like, I'm in all the witchy healer spiritual communities. So I see everybody being like, make your own hand sanitizer with lavender spray and this and that. And a lot of people wash your hands more. And then there's people who are really afraid and staying in and like this coronavirus is coming. I think that many of us have been taken out by a plague in a lifetime or two, like dying in a past life because of illness is not foreign. Like, so I think it's understandable that people can get a little scared. But I've also heard scientifically that it's actually like the common flu, or maybe a little bit less. And there's actually been less deaths with the coronavirus than the common flu, or several strains of the common flu already this year. And I think it's really important to mostly focus on yourself. There are agents that can affect us at any time. Everybody has cancer cells in their body. Everybody has pollution around them. Anybody can walk outside and breathe in a big bunch of cigarette smoke or like, firewood, camp burning, like whatever it is. There's toxins around us at all time. And I believe very much in healing the body and the vessel and using that as your ultimate defense mechanism. So like, could I catch a cold? Of course I could, but I'm going to catch that cold a lot easier if I believe that I'm going to catch it, or I believe that I'm prone to getting sick, or I believe I have a weak immune system. When I listened to my doctors and I believed all the things that they were telling me about myself, like it got worse. And it wasn't until I chose to start healing it and making it better and believing like my body's getting stronger every day. Like I have a happy, healthy, strong body. My immune system's strong. Like it's amazing. Do I admit?
That's affirmations.
Huh?
That's again affirmations. That's exactly what they're doing. Yeah, that's very important. So
So that's my defense against the coronavirus. It's just all the normal things and understanding that and not allowing it to make me afraid either. I'm not going to stay in. It's not like this killer thing coming around just wiping people out like the zombie apocalypse or like a crazy plague that's turning your skin black on contact. It seems to be something that people are getting sick with and getting better. And I have that little bit of political radical in me and conspiracy, and I just wonder if it's just out there to distract us right now. And, I encourage myself and all my clients, I don't start my day with the news anymore. I wake up and I start my day going over 10 things I'm grateful for. And then I set an intention and I think about what that day is going to be looking like for me. And I don't try to connect with any sort of media outside of myself until I've had my solid morning routine done. And then I can look at it with a different perspective and a different lens, and I'll have more energy towards it. So, like I said, I think people should be safe, wash your hands, don't go around coughing on people and all of that, but also, do the things that are going to protect your own immune system. And especially the number one thing that can help that are your beliefs and what you believe is around you or what you're susceptible to.
that's very important what you say. It's really, I believe in that also. Stay positive, not allow fear to overcome. It is very beautiful suggestion what you say to start morning like from yourself, focusing on yourself and taking your own decision. What is for you today? what it should bring for you, and then go outside and start, maybe, of course, now we have to take care how many infected people there are around us. It is very important. And we have to take care, we have to stay grounded and not to ignore reality, that but in the same time, immune system and our mind psychology, that's a huge part of our health.
It's all a component. There's not one best thing or the other. You got to work with all the possible resources you have. Some of that's your mental health. Some of that's the power of positivity. Some of that is healthy eating and hygiene. Like, there's so many things that go into that. But I don't think it's something we need to fear at this time. And I don't think fear is going to help anybody's cause.
Yeah, that's for sure. And what about, my show has the name Heart Over Me. And original, it had exactly the same as yours, but I changed. And then, it is Heart Over Ego. So it is more clear ego. What it is, how to deal, how to survive in our society today, how much balance should be between me and ego. How many in percentage would you say it is necessary to survive? Or we should completely overcome everything, just follow our heart?
I think that's a great question. So I like the concept of heart, like, here's the heart and here's the ego, and the heart just being a little over the ego. I'm not saying get rid of ego. I think ego is a beautiful thing. I think it's a compilation of all of our experiences throughout this lifetime, and it's what we've learned and what we have to compare things to. And I think it can be a really important guide, actually, and almost like your best friend or your personality at times. But if you let it lead and you let it get into the front, and you're not letting your heart, which is that moral part of you that you physically feel when things you're not doing, like every single person knows if their stomach turns or if their heart skips a beat or if something's not in alignment. And I feel like it's about making decisions based on like what your heart is saying and allowing your ego to take a step back. But I think your ego can be a wonderful tool as well. I feel like that's probably where I've stored a lot of the information I've read and books I've read and experiences I've had and things that I remember. And like, I like a lot of my personality, my girlfriends and I are joking around and having fun and laughing, and I'm joking. And like, I feel like that part of me is my ego. And like, what other part of me would it be, And so I'm like, I don't feel like it's my divine part that I'm channeling. Like, sure, I've got some humor left up there, but like, I don't know. I think a lot of like things in my personality can be from my ego. And I think your ego is an important part of you.
I have a question regarding channeling. Okay, start channeling. Somebody's in front of you, you have your client, and then what you do is, if sometimes your ego starts triggered, and how you calm him down and take out of the business.
Oh, like okay, so yeah, like this, like discernment. How do you discern which part of you is channeling and which part of you is the ego coming in? So for me, during my empowerment sessions, I use both all the time, and I'll be channeling and I'll say, and I'll know it's from the angels, and they'll show me, a past life or a pattern or like something like a pineapple, and I'll be like, do you like pineapple? And they'll be like, no, I'm super allergic to it. And I'll be like, stay away, because they just showed me this pineapple, just like weird things. But I'll take a step back, and because I also in this lifetime, and something my ego is proud of, is I spent a lot of time learning and trying to figure out how to help people. And, I don't believe that there's one single healing modality out there for everybody. I think there's so many different options people can try and things that they can do to help. And so I've spent a lot of time reading, and I'm surrounded by books all the time and activities. So I'll say things like, one of my favorite spiritual teachers, this happened last week. I have a client who was having a hard time with her partner and was trying to figure out better ways to communicate. And she was someone who is very empathic and can take things really sensitively. And one of my favorite spiritual teachers, Rebecca Campbell, who wrote Light is the New Black and Rise, Sister, Rise. I was at one of her retreats, and she talked about this activity that she had learned called facts or feelings that you can do at the end of the night with yourself or with a spouse. And at the end of the day, you say, okay, so what actually happened today? And somebody might be like, oh, this person ruin my coffee at Starbucks. You were talking about Starbucks earlier. This person ruined my, coffee at Starbucks. So I know she did it on purpose and it was terrible, like that kind of thing. I'm using a
Yeah.
very extreme example, and like ruin my whole day. And it's like at the end of the day, you and your partner can sit down. Your partner would be like, well, did she actually ruin your whole day and intentionally burn your coffee?
Yeah.
Is that a fact, or are you taking that personally and that's a feeling? Maybe it's her first day and she had a really hard time and like didn't know what she was doing. Maybe she just got really bad news. Maybe there was something going on. It had nothing to do with you. You just happened to be handed a crappy coffee and you chose to take it personally. So, just little things like that for me, not channeled information. That's a activity or an exercise that I learned along the path that I've applied to myself that I think could help someone. So I'll say, this is just me. And like, have you tried this activity? I've heard this could really help people. And then I'll just say, oh, you know what? The angels are showing me right now like this. And like, this is happening because like my angels are with me the whole time. And so for me, I've gotten pretty good at discernment with that, but it takes a while and it takes an art. And I think just like everything else, just being honest and communicating and saying, hey, I'm not channeling this from spirit, but like, I just heard about this girl who, had warts all over her fingers and she healed them because every day she told them to get smaller until they disappeared. Maybe that would work for you. Give it a try. Like, so that's what I try to do. And that's the discernment I try to practice. And I just try to stay as honest as I possibly can. When you were on my show, you were talking about the concept of like feeling and staying pure. And I feel like when giving readings and stuff, that's what I try to do. Or I'll even say, like, hey, this is from my own perspective because I had to leave a boyfriend in the past, or I had to leave a job in the past. And this is what I did. And it worked really well for me. Or people ask me literally, Mandee, what do you do? What do you do when you need to cut a contract or a cord? Like, what feels good to you? And I'll be like, oh, I'll write them a love letter. And they'll be like, what? And I'll be like, I'll write them a love letter and thank them for all the experiences and how it grew me. And then I'll go burn it. And then I cut my cord and the energy's done. And I ask my angels to take the smoke up to heaven and off I go. And I feel better. Other people do other rituals and things. So that's how I tell discernment.
Ah, dear Mandy, you are such a bright. I know you since 1 year about, I think, and
Oh,
I have never seen you like in bad mood, always smiling, shiny, and I have really from all my heart to thank you. Also, thank you for being here on the show and sharing your story, which is so impressive. And I'm quite sure, as I experienced you just few minutes before on the show, on your show, you are such a brilliant moderator. You're just brilliant, what you do. And I wish all the best for you, for your partner, for your future, for Alchemy Sisters, for any future projects which you will start and will get, by angels to do on the earth. You are one angel, and lucky I have met you.
Met you many lifetimes, a sister. And yeah, I'm not perfect. All I can do is my best. And if I am in a bad mood, I deal with it. I go shake it out. I go stomp on the beach and take a long walk. I dance. I honor my feelings because feelings are holy. Doesn't mean, like we all have to be perfect or this or that. Like the feelings coming through you are there for a reason. But if your feelings are running you and you're staying in your feelings too long, then you're missing out on your life. So I try to just deal with it in the moment. Like if I see somebody kick a puppy, it's going to trigger me and I'm going to be mad and I got to go deal with it. So.
I would love to see it. One day, I hope we will meet,
Oh,
We'll
there's
meet
a
and
divine mother in me. Don't you worry. If I need to lay down the law, I will. But, I try to just live and let live as best as possible.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I hope next time we can go in some topic which we can choose and go more in detail. Now, just small overview. Who are you? What are you doing? How much heart in your life? So thank you so much for your work, and then see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this and sharing your light, sister.
Thank you.